Last year, Legend Story Studios increased the point totals for the wins in a variety of different tournaments, meaning that if a hero wins an event, they receive more Living Legend points. But what does that mean for the rotation of those heroes, and are we on the precipice of seeing a few of these heroes rotate? What will it mean for the game of Flesh and Blood when a hero like Dromai moves into the Living Legend status? Let's talk about it. But before we do, look at us go! We made the number go slightly higher. That's because of you. You chose to press a red button. That was pretty awesome. When you hit the like button, it makes the video get like a little blink. I don't know if you saw that, but that's pretty cool. But it's also very cool to hit the subscribe button because it makes this number go up. And to celebrate that, we're gonna release merch. We're gonna do merch. We're gonna do DM Armada hoodies, okay? So if you would like to get your hands on a DM Armada hoodie, you'd like to wear the hoodie with me, we'll combine, we'll like join forces, we'll go to an event, we'll all wear the hoodies and we'll take a picture. If you would like to support this channel and wear a DM Armada hoodie, I will put a link in the description to my Discord where I'm going to be posting how you go about purchasing it, what size you're going to be. Tell me what size. I'm going to order them all, and we'll have specifically sized out the hoodie that you want. And it'll be an absolute blast. We'll have a great time, and we'll celebrate 19K as we kind of hurtle on towards the old 20K milestone. But jumping back into the topic, let's take a look at the Living Legend page on Flesh and Blood's website. This is the current standings for the Living Legend points. If you win a World Championship, you get 300 points. That is not coming up anytime soon, but a Pro Tour is closing in. That offers 200 points. A calling is going to be happening concurrently with the Pro Tour. That's 100 points, and then the Battle Hardened will take place after that on that same weekend, of course, 40 points for that. So a total of like 340 points available on a single weekend, which is very, very large amount of points. You couple that along with your Road to Nationals that we are kind of just coming out of, and then ProQuest season, which we're about to go into. And there are a lot of points now on the board for heroes to pick up. Speaking of the board, let's take a look at it. Fi is currently sitting at the top and does have some capacity to move further down the line to, Living Legend status, but is unfortunately kind of pushed down right now in the meta, sitting at only 16 points in this RTN season. I also want to point out this is currently not updated for week 4 of RTN season. We'll probably do a video on that tomorrow because I really want to know how week 4 of RTN season rounded out the season and where our point totals sit. Nevertheless, these are as of week 3 and only 16 points for Fi, which is not much at all, so has not moved very much at all. Nevertheless, Dromai, right behind him at 760, has moved a ton because she is, well, the second biggest amount of point getter this year, as the Battle Hardened was the reason that KO is sitting at the 148 that he is, plus all the wins that he has RTNs. But Dromai at 112 points. That's a lot of points that she's gained at both RTNs and also just, in play in general. And there's a real capacity that she can rotate coming in the next month or so. I mean, if she wins Pro Tour, that coupled with probably the points she got from this most recent week of RTNs would push her over the top. If Dromai wins Pro Tour, I bet she's rotated out. Even if she doesn't, she gets closer and closer as she goes. Dash is at 746 and moving a fair bit, but nothing crazy. There is some, like schools of thought. There are some schools of thought that think that she's pretty decent right now in the meta. I'm not super sold on it. Yes, I know you can play Slab Dash and you can try to be fatiguey and all that sort of thing. And there's really not a good fatigue deck in the format, so maybe that's her. But at the same time, I'm not sure that that she provides enough benefit into a variety of matchups for her to really kind of approach that Living Legend status. Nevertheless, she is the third closest, I should say. And then Bravo, and then Katsu. There's a big fall off right there, and then everybody kind of sits in this range right here. I would put this in another little packet or tier of points. Dorinthia sits like in this outlier between the two groups, and then there's a big chunk here of heroes that sit in 200 range, and then it falls off into heroes that are either very, very far down the list, like Betsy and Teklevasan, or heroes that are kind of charging forward like KO. But what I want to talk about today, not only are the amount of points that these heroes are getting, but what happens when someone like a Dromai rotates. I would make the prediction that Dromai will rotate in the next 1 to 2 months. She could rotate at Pro Tour. If she doesn't, I think she rotates during the ProQuest season in April, which means next month. After March comes April, and she would rotate, I would believe. If that's the case, if she rotates, what does this do to the format? And what is the fundamental idea of rotating one of the most powerful heroes in the game do to this format? Because I would say that these are perhaps the two last vestiges of this more powerful sort of block of sets that we received with, we had Prism and we had, Chain right here, both from Monarch. The other two Monarch heroes are starting to make some waves. Obviously, Levia's gotten some love, and Sir Bolton feeling pretty decent into the meta right now. But these two heroes were clearly the standouts from that set. And then all three of the heroes from, where's Briar? There she is. All three of the heroes from Tales of Aria are gone. And then Icelander is gone, and Bravo is gone as well. And those are heroes from that main block of like Monarch all the way to Uprising, which is where these two heroes come from as well. They're the last two heroes from Uprising, and perhaps that overpowered block that we saw. When they go, what does the format look like? That's a really intriguing proposition, and I want to talk about Dromai first. So if Dromai goes, what heroes benefit from that? And this is the exciting part. The heroes that benefit from Dromai going, you could argue that Bravo does. Currently right now, I think aggro Bravo is actually a problem for like an aggro Dromai. But you could say that Bravo gets better. You could say, going down the list, that all the warriors get better. Dorinthia and Olympia, which is a fun little rhyme there, and Kasai all get better. I would even say Sir Bolton gets way better because those heroes are put into awkward positions. We'll put it that way. Put into awkward positions dealing with dragons in a board state. In fact, I'll point this out. Only hero that really builds a board state besides Dromai right now is the other illusionist in Prism, who has access to Spectra. But this is an incredibly difficult deck to play, and one that is, perhaps the best way to put it is finicky. Is a little bit finicky, but it can do crazy things, and it's starting to catch on now, the crazy things that it can do. So I wonder if Prism comes and supplants herself in place of Dromai when she rotates. Nevertheless, this is the other thing that Dromai kind of preys on right now. Victor does not feel good to play from the Victor perspective into Dromai. He gets better. Azuri gets better. Let's see, where is he? Arachne gets better. Riptide gets way better. This is the interesting thing about a hero that is I would describe the only gatekeeper deck in the format left. When this hero rotates, when Dromai goes, it's going to make me feel very sad because I love my Dromai deck. I love playing Dromai. I just connected with Dromai right out of the gate in Uprising, and I've been on the deck pretty much ever since, and when she rotates, so many other heroes. You could even argue Azalea gets better because she doesn't have to deal with the dragons of Dromai. So many heroes increase in value, meaning that more heroes are playable, and especially these ones down here. The heroes that sit at the bottom that are very much gate-kept by Dromai now have some amount of utility into the meta, and I'm specifically looking at you, Riptide. Riptide and Arachne, those heroes that have just this almost auto loss into Dromai, now don't have that and now have some capacity. Like, for example, Riptide. If you haven't played Riptide in a while, or if you've not played against a Riptide, Riptide feels very comfortable into any of these warriors that are sort of being played out there. Riptide feels quite good from that perspective. In fact, there's a lot of matchups that a Riptide actually feels okay into, except this one that pushes him way down. And this is a huge meta share. If you're not looking, it's massive meta share right now. And with that rotation comes the opportunity for a Riptide type hero, even just Riptide, but either him or other heroes to kind of come out of the woodwork and actually have a space. Not be super dominant. As you can see, he's not going to be dominant. He has not earned a ton of living legend points prior to this, but maybe be like a mid-tier hero. And all of a sudden, players that want to connect to that type of play style feel very vindicated for being patient on their hero, and that is a very cool place to be. If Phi rotates, heroes that are pushed down, really honestly, Dromai is the one that it feels like the most pushed by Phi's presence, but Ninja just being a powerful thing. There are like a bunch of mid-range heroes. I would say maybe Victor feels better into the meta. Phi going away is a huge change as well, but perhaps not more than Dromai. The moment that a hero like Dromai or like Phi, these more powerful heroes, rotate, it allows these other heroes to start eating these points and these increased point totals. It allows them to start eating them across the board more evenly, because I would argue that these heroes are far closer in power level than anything we've ever seen before. Yes, there are some bottom tier heroes. Yes, these technically have not earned any points, and there's some heroes that aren't making much in the way of movement. And there's of course heroes that are charging forward like KO and Kasai and Victor, which just came out and are already putting up numbers and gaining points. But even if like a hero like KO tries to pull the Bravo Star of a Show speed run of the meta, it gains 148 points in like 2 months or whatever it is, he's still not so pushed past everyone else that there's no like gameplay into him, and then there's that he's just clearly S tier. And that is a really, really cool proposition. When you take away some of these types of overpowered heroes almost, or a gatekeep type hero, the rest of the field grows evenly, and that creates a more natural life cycle for the hero within the classic constructed format. That's what's really exciting. Now, do you worry about something like one of these new heroes just gaining a mass amount of points? I mean, these technically they've been out for what, 2 months now, and they've already hit like KO's already hit 148 points. I'm not terribly worried about it, because again, if the median power level of the hero pool is right here and KO's is right here, so be it. There's always gonna be a hero that comes out and is a little bit stronger, because that's just how it functions, and players have figured it out. But as long as that is not where the median power level is here and KO's here, the game is really doing well. It's okay, and things are good. So the point total's going up, and what it's creating is it's creating a space for these heroes to rotate more quickly. And then the entire rest of the board is going to be eating slightly more points, but spread out across the entirety of the hero pool, or nearly entirety of the hero pool. Maybe a few heroes don't, quite cut it still. That is a much more even and spread out meta. The question then becomes, okay, is that still fast enough? And I know that's not the question some people would ask, but look at how many heroes there are. Let's say these 2 heroes do rotate in the next 2 months, okay? That would leave us, what is this, 25 currently? So that would leave us 23 heroes. We add, let's just say, in Part the Mistveil that comes out in May, if we add 4, that seems like a good number. If we had 4 heroes, 3 to 4 heroes, that would put us back to around the parity that we have right now. We're at 25, we would go to 26 if there's 3, 27 if there's 24. What if they do another 6 hero set though, like we just got with heavy hitters? Then we're starting to push that number of like 30 plus heroes over the next few set releases. Is that too much? Do the point totals actually need to go up because all these heroes are more at parity and are not rotating quickly enough? I mean, technically Dash has been here since set 2. Bravo and Katsu been here since set 1, since the beginning of the game in 2019. Do those heroes actually need to rotate to make space for either different versions of those heroes or new heroes that people can fall in love with as well? That's an interesting question, maybe a topic for another video, but let me know what you think about the point totals and what's going to happen when these heroes rotate to the meta. What's going to change? Are you going to like it? Tell me if you think you're a big, Dromai stan in the comments below, and if you think that's a good thing or what. But also, celebrate with me by pressing the button and making the number go up again, because if we keep doing this, who knows what will happen? We'll hit 20K maybe, and then we'll celebrate in, I don't know, it's like a 20-hour live stream. That would be pretty fun. I want to do something stupid for a 20K subscriber celebration. So leave a comment. Maybe you can tell me what I should do if that ever comes to pass. Leave a comment down below. As always, everybody, thanks for watching.